All right, so we're back. It's week 2 now. I've got to apologize to you guys. I got a little sick last week. Had some sinus issues. Luckily, Coach Chambers forgot all about the show. So, and we were off last week, so not a whole lot of pressure to get one done. But we're back. It's week 2 now.
Yep.
It's week 2. So we played week 0. We're off week 1. We're back for week 2. We're going to start out by talking about Mansfield. We go over to Mansfield in week 0, and Coach, what was the final score?
41-7.
So we lose 41-7. There were a few bright spots in there. We kind of got out of it. What we needed, what we talked about. So I'm going to touch base a little bit with you guys on our offense, defense, and special teams breakdown. So the biggest thing when I sat down and looked at the stats, the biggest thing was we ran 28 plays, Coach. They ran 52 plays. So obviously we know we got to run more plays to have an opportunity to win football games and score points. Can you talk just a little bit about that part of it?
Yeah, we're going to have to sustain drives. That's something we didn't do. We were 3 plays and out way too many times. We finally figured out, we're having a little success running off the edge and started kind of riding that with Ashton a little bit. But just early in the game, it was just too many 3 and outs. Then we'd get a possession and fumble and give it up. So we're going to have to sustain drives, even if we're not scoring on those drives, even flip and field position, things like that, to give us a better opportunity, not just on offense, but on defense as well.
I think, as I was sitting there watching the game, I was thinking growing pains. We talked about this team's going to look different. We've got to give these guys an opportunity to get out there, sort of mesh, get to know each other. And you've seen that a little bit, I think, with on the offensive side of the ball with new faces in new places and guys just trying to get comfortable. So, in an effort to try to put a positive spin on it, I think it's a non-conference game. We knew what we were getting into, and we got some great reps over there.
Yep.
And we know where we need to improve.
Yep.
So rushing, obviously, or at least I hope you guys seen the highlight that I put out. Ashton Dromer hit a home run. He does that from time to time.
Yep.
But we run a play. Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we overloaded a little bit. We overload to the left-hand side, and he ends up cutting it back and taking it 70 yards. Talk about that play.
It's just basic midline. We put our extra running back on the play side to give us an extra blocker, and quarterback made a good read, opened up, and it's either you're going to cut to one side of the field or the other. And he went backside and outran the rest of the defense.
And definitely outran it. He had some kids that had some angles on him and was still able to get to the end zone. We've seen that with Ashton. He's been doing that for a couple of years. We got him to football, I believe it was 13 times. He had 12 rushes, and he had 1 reception for 9 yards. So that was sort of the highlight play of the game for us. He hit that play for a 70-yard touchdown, and he ended up with 12 carries for 119 yards. So got him off to a good start, and he had the catch, the 9-yard catch as well. Switching over to the defensive side, I was encouraged watching the defense. A kid that we talked about in the first coaches show, Dakota Pack. I felt like he'd done some things that night that I had not seen him do previously. So I see him get through the line, put some pressure on some kids. I don't have the stats on him on how many tackles he had, but I know he caused some disruption. Can you talk just a little bit about him?
Yeah. So he's like I said, he's played for us since 7th grade, and he's finally getting his opportunity here as a junior to get on the field, significant plays on defense and offense. And he did a pretty good job anchoring his gap and playing side to side, and made a few tackles. But the main thing in our defense is keeping blockers off our linebackers, kind of letting them play. So,
so to touch base on the defensive side a little more, it looks like Trace Nicholas led us in tackles, had 10.5 tackles. Dawson Littleton, who was all over the place, 9 tackles. Can you talk a little bit about those 2 kids leading the way there on defense?
Both played really well. Trace is playing our DN spot this year, so it's a super important position in our defense, and did a great job of containing the edge and making some plays where it could have been if he missed a tackle. They have a nice game. Dawson Littleton playing linebacker, first time he's ever played linebacker. had a few out that wasn't expecting to be out, so just kind of bump into linebacker and just said, go make a play, and he kind of did that. Did a pretty good job playing downhill and making tackles.
Another thing that stood out to me reviewing the stats was special teams. If I had to pick an area where we sort of stood out a little more than anywhere else as a team, it was special teams. We get an extra point opportunity after the touchdown, and we have a good snap, good hold, and Trace kicked it through. Who are those kids? Talk about that.
Dawson Littleton is our deep snapper. Hayden, his brother, is holding for us, and got a couple kickers now. Got Trace kicking a little bit, but got our 2-point exchange students that'll be taking over some of those kicking duties as the season wears on. Those extra points are, they're free, they should be free points.
Yeah.
We got to have them every single time, and we did a good job there when we had our opportunity.
Yeah, it looked nice live, and it looked nice on the playback. So good to see us converting those early in the season. And we've got Trace doing a lot. So I'm glad to hear that we've got
a lot of hats. So.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear we've got a little relief for him. Thought Hayden did a good job punting the football. He ends up punting 3 times for a total of 83 yards. It gives him a 27, just a little over 27-yard average. But the key thing is he put one inside the 20.
Right. He's not a punter. So we just line him up in deep shotgun and hopefully catch him off guard. Maybe not put anybody back. And just kind of pooch kick it. That's kind of I think what we're going to do this year. And if we're around the 50-yard line, he should be able to pin him inside the 20 pretty much every single time.
Yeah. I know he got a good roll on one of them, so it was executed pretty well. And then Cam Matson, another special teams performance. Cam returned 3 kickoffs for 68 yards, which is a 22-yard average. You'll take that. Get that.
Yeah, it looks really good returning kicks. I thought we set our wedge pretty well, and he had a couple lanes. Thought he was going to house one of them, but just got tripped up. He's super fast. He hits the crease really fast. Got a lot of reps at kickoff return, unfortunately, that Friday night. But no, we looked pretty good in that department, I thought.
All right, so let's move along. One of the biggest things that caught me by surprise this week, we've got a schedule change. So if you've got a paper schedule or you haven't checked into it over the course of this week, we've got a schedule change. You want to talk about that?
So Lamar, we were planning on playing Lamar's JV here, junior high and senior high. But Coach Jones are having quarantine issues, pretty much like every team in the state is. So we've switched, and Waldron's going to come over and play Friday night. Right now we have him on the schedule for Friday night, and then turn around and play him again Monday. So we will keep you posted about the Monday game. Right now we are playing Friday night, but Monday might get switched around and changed maybe. So we'll find that out kind of later this week.
All right, so keep an eye on that. So this is something we've done a lot over the last few years. We've been able to, reach out. We've had some higher classification schools we're able to develop relationships with and play JV games. So they're able to get their JV guys some reps and bring them over, and we're able to get our guys some reps. And in a lot of ways, it's like a glorified practice.
Yeah.
So I know one of the things that I've really appreciated about these games over the last few years is you play that first week, you see what you need to do. You can only, we're 2A football here.
Mm-hmm.
How many kids we have on the roster?
21, I believe.
So we're sitting at 21. It makes it a little more challenging to have good quality physical practices.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've seen over these games is we're able to get out there and put hats on people and sort of get up to speed on the physicality part of the game.
Right.
And so can you talk a little bit about that?
It's nice to get out there and hit somebody in another color uniform sometimes. These are JV teams, Lamar's JV and Waldron's JV, but just because they're JV teams, they always play us real competitive. It's not like we're just getting in there and rolling them up and getting out of there. But no, they always play us really competitive. Over the last couple of years that we have played Waldron and Lamar's JV squads, and it's really good for us. Get out and line. You can't substitute live reps in practice. It's just you can't.
Right.
So if anytime you can get a game in, even if it is a JV squad, it's good for us.
Yeah, and it's set us up well the last few years moving forward. So let's hope. I'd like to hope that we can have a good quality outing there and stay healthy and get ready for the next week, whatever that brings. I'm not going to get into an injury report. If you were at the game or watched it on the live stream, Terrence Thurman went down early. I understand Terrence isn't going to be with us next week.
No.
I'm not going to talk about or ask about Terrence's injury, but just sort of wanted to give you a chance to say something about him. Terrence is a senior.
Yeah.
He's been in your program since 7th grade. He played Little League football every year he was eligible, and just want to give you a chance to say something about him.
Yeah, he went down second series. Hate it for him, but he's been out there at practice with us some, and it's next man up. Just as something happens in small football, any football, next guy's got to step up and make plays. Terrence knows that, and he's going to help out whenever he can, and we'll just have to.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to step up and make plays.
There's a lot of ways to contribute to a football team and being out there on the field the way you want to do it, but there's a lot of things that I'm sure he can do to help us through the season.
Yep.
Terrence, hang in there. Just want to give you a shout out. I know it's a tough situation. Coach Chambers knows all about it.
Oh,
yeah. Let's kind of transition into previewing this week. Sort of unique. We have junior high at 5:30. Is that right?
Yes.
So we got junior high at 5:30, senior high at 7. Those are both Friday night. Thought I would take this opportunity to ask Coach a little bit about the junior high squad. I'm going to talk about those guys.
So junior high, we feel really good about our junior high team this year. We're really good in the front seven, a little young in the back end and the secondary, and I think that kind of showed last week. We played Hackett last Thursday night, and I know the game ended 32-6, but it was way closer than what the score ended. Had a couple young guys in the secondary, and they're in the right spots. Just sometimes the athletes make plays. They had a couple good athletes on the outside and a really good quarterback. We held them to 30 yards rushing, I think, something 30 or 40 yards rushing. So our front seven did a really, really good job. And for the most part, we did a good job on the outside. They just hit a couple big pass plays, which if you can throw in junior high, sometimes that kind of makes it tough.
Yeah. So good junior high squad. If you guys have time, if you can get off work and get out there, that game starts at 5 o'clock. And come and check these guys out. Senior high at 7. Coach, anything you want to say? We've sort of already previewed a little bit. We talked about who's coming and how this works. But anything you want to say about the game Friday night? Anything that you want to say about what we're going to do? What you expect out of Waldron?
I know they're just their junior high look a lot like us. They were on a double wing with some cross buck and stuff like that. Senior high, they kind of spread it out a little bit. It'll be Coach Powell's first trip back to Magazine since he left. So you guys might want to see Coach Powell again. He'll be here this Friday night.
Be interesting to see him on the other sideline.
My brother will be there Friday night, so it's always nice to play them and hopefully beat them.
Yeah, no doubt. Always fun to beat Corey. There's another coach that I guess will be coming, Coach Sykes.
Yep.
So same story, different week. Week 1 we go to Mansfield and we get to see Magazine alum Leighton Robinson over there, and then fast forward to week 2, or I guess it was week 0. Fast forward to week 2, we're going to see 3 former Rattler football coaches because Corey was here at least for a year, right? He was here for a year.
Yep.
So look forward to seeing those guys. That's some of the fun parts of the game. I have a couple of things that I wanted to just ask about, or one thing specifically, Coach. Can you talk about the golf tournament?
So September 25th, we are the Magazine Athletic Department is hosting our first annual, I think it's the Rattler Classic Golf Tournament. It's a 2-man scramble. Sign-ups are in the clubhouse, and all the money will go towards uniform purchases and stuff for every athletic team and the band and cheerleaders for athletic uniform purchases here the next couple years. Uniforms are super expensive. We'd love for you guys to come out and support that however you want to, whether you play or maybe sponsor a hole or whatever, just be there. It's good for our kids, and I think it's something that's really important. We need a lot of community support.
Yeah, so a good way to support the team, good way to get involved. I sort of wanted to issue a challenge to Rattler football legend, big number 4, John Terry from way back in the day. John, if I don't see you out here at this golf tournament, you're going to have to answer to me. So you better be there, man. Better bring some folks. Another thing I said I would mention, I've got a parent, actually got two different parents reaching out to me that are interested in some goodie bags for these guys. If you're interested in participating in something like that, reach out to me and I'll direct you the right way so that you can help out. And I guess that's it, Coach. Appreciate you for making the time.
Yeah.
Apologize for being late. Coach said practice ran a little bit long.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing sometimes. So we'll try to stay on time with these things, but apologize for being late and hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks. Did you see what that said?